Hello, it's Big Soprano, and today I'm going to talk about my experience with hard drugs. Now, before I get into this, I do not recommend hard drugs for anybody. Take this as a PSA, even though it isn't one. So it starts in 2022. I made friends with my old friend that betrayed me a lot, and for that, he gave me Xanax. And I tried Xanax for the first time. I felt like I was like floating in like a calm way. Like my mind was like so calm. I felt like I could take it all day. And that's a pretty bad feeling to get when you're on drugs because obviously you should not be taking them all day. But I felt like I could take them all day. But my experience doesn't really like actually kick off till 2023 where I got kicked out of my mom's. My friend who gave me the Xanax sold me benzoids, and it had like a funny feeling, I guess, when you take them. You feel a little different. I'm not sure I can remember much, but it like froze half my face, and my dad made fun of me for it, and he canceled my driving test because I did benzoids the day before I had my driving test, like the night before. Eventually, I move into my aunt's house, and then I leave my aunt's house and I move into the trap, and that's where I got heavily into drugs. It started with cocaine. On cocaine, you feel like powerful, focused, and energized, and happy, and it lasts for several hours. Like feel very like focused and energized. It lasts pretty much like the whole day, honestly. Even though I like snorted more than just one bump a day, but like cocaine could like kill you. It like increases your risk of death like very highly. You have a high risk of death if you consume cocaine, so I don't recommend it. And I played Call of Duty on cocaine, and it was fun. It was fun. I was like focused onto the game, and I actually like enjoyed the game, even though I never really liked COD Zombies. I played COD Zombies and Call of Duty World at War, the first game, and it was pretty fun. Eventually, I got into Molly, which is MDMA. It's like a methamphetamine. I used to drop Molly into my prime every chance I could. It was like a weird like drink. It's like I spiked my own drink. It like makes you feel like euphoric. It didn't necessarily make me horny, but it made me like hallucinate. All like auditory hallucinations. And on it you feel pretty funny too. Like I didn't necessarily felt like horny. I felt like passionate on Molly. So I guess Molly makes you passionate. It was honestly a waste of money. Cocaine and Molly affected my emotions, and I did them a lot. Cocaine gave me tremors that I don't really deal with them anymore, but for like almost a year, I was dealing with tremors every day, and they were really bad when I got off cocaine. Or when I moved into my aunt's, just my tremors were really bad, and my anxiety was really, really, really bad. I was very paranoid. It made me drugs made me more sensitive to everything. I feel more vulnerable than I ever was. I tried acid I bought before I left the trap that I tried after I left, and it sent me to the hospital because I was paranoid and hallucinating. I thought everyone at the shelter was gonna beat me up or something because they were all like crowding around me while I did acid. And like I already did the acid before I came back to the shelter that day. Well, that night. But like I guess everyone could tell like that like something was like going on, and they sort of like trip sitted me, right? For some reason my friend that the friend that I made at the shelter was just like sleeping on a chair, and eventually he wakes up, and I tell him what's going on, and like everyone like started like crowding me. And I remember one kid, he went off. He was getting so like excited that he went off and started punching the tree over and over. And me and the other person there was two other people, but me and the other person were like, wow, he's a total weirdo. And the other person did not want to be near that guy at all who punched the wood, because that's just some weirdo behavior. But yeah, drugs increased my likelihood of psychosis. Now I get it every time I smoke weed. And when I did acid, I was in psychosis. Like people were like popping in and out, like outside, like they were like popping out of nowhere. Like, and I felt like everyone on the street wanted to beat me up, because that was the night I got jumped. Well, I wasn't hit or anything, but I basically got jumped because I like called the cops. But I called the cops and they sent me back to the shelter. It the calling the cops turned on me, because they went and put me into custody for like a few minutes just so they could take me back to the shelter. But once I get back to the shelter, I like tell the workers that like I'm scared and paranoid and shit. Scared of like everyone at the shelter. And they decided to take me to the hospital. And that's where they just sat me in a chair until I sober up. I haven't done hard drugs since, but I have smoked weed a few months ago. Probably because of the drugs and psychosis. I experience psychosis every time I hit my dab pen. Now I don't do any drugs, even though weed is allowed at my aunt's, and I couldn't be more stable. Without drugs, you're just more stable, because drugs really affect your mental health. Like, seriously, just consider that.